All of the recent speculation about JOANN Fabrics has been confirmed. The retailer has filed for its second bankruptcy within 1 year. Welcome to Sewing Report Live. I'm Jen, and we're going to be diving into the latest. I was not expecting to have to cover this so soon after my last video, but I started getting news alerts from major online outlets, and it's happening. It is really happening. JOANN has filed for its second bankruptcy, Chapter 11, within 1 year. And by the way, links to all of my resources are down below in the description box. So we're going to get right into it. So this is from Retail Dive. JOANN files for bankruptcy for the second time in a year. The crafts retailer was forced back into Chapter 11 by the wider retail environment and its own financial and inventory woes, the company said. All right, yeah, it's happening Wednesday, filed under Chapter 11 in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware, with a plan to sell itself. The crafts retailer, whose stores and e-commerce site remain open for business, is asking the court to approve a sale of substantially all of its assets, with Gordon Brothers as a stalking horse bidder. JOANN filed for bankruptcy last March, exiting in April as a private company owned by its creditors. According to court documents filed this week, its liabilities range between $1 billion and $10 billion. Whew. Yeah, and I first heard about this over the weekend, and I was like, are they going to do this? And then, today, it's happening, guys. It is happening. I started seeing some comments from you guys on the other video. So, yeah. As JOANN lands in bankruptcy court for the second time in less than a year, interim CEO Michael Prendergast cited significant and lasting challenges in the retail environment, along with the retailer's own financial challenges and constrained inventory levels. After carefully reviewing all available strategic paths, we have determined that initiating a court-supervised sale process is the best course of action to maximize the value of the business, he said, adding that the hope is to find a way for the crafts retailer to continue to operate as a going, all right, they might have a typo there. For now, the company intends to uphold its commitments to customers, team members, and partners, including continued payment of employee wages and benefits per its press release. JOANN last week confirmed the closure of stores in various states that the company described as part of routine store location evaluation and optimization. The challenges with inventory made it particularly vulnerable, according to global data managing partner Neil Saunders. Inventory issues have created out of stocks and gap in assortments, which has weakened its specialist status in the fabric and textile space and caused customer defections. Yeah, that's an understatement. The experience in many stores is also subpar, which has damaged sales. And that really tracks from a lot of the comments that you have left on previous videos. The stores are kind of a mess. They're chaotic. There's not enough staff because JOANN Corporate is not giving them enough hours to do everything that's needed. Oh my gosh, if you go in the JOANN subreddit, it's really a dumpster fire, and you can see how low employee morale really is. It's quite sad, honestly. When JOANN emerged from bankruptcy last time, it had very little room to maneuver because it still had debt. While it reduced its debt burden, it did not eliminate it, which meant it had very little room for error in terms of execution, he said. Sadly, JOANN has been found wanting on several fronts, and it has now run out of oxygen again. Yeah, so, look, we just found out within the last couple weeks that there's going to be quite a few store closings. Will this continue? Yeah. So we're going to go into JOANN's, they have set up a new website. So when they filed for bankruptcy last year, they set up a website. It was like joannforward.com, something like that. This website is it's at joannrestructuring.com. So this is straight from the source. Open for business as we seek to maximize company value. JOANN stores are open in the ordinary course. JOANN.com is shipping orders, and team members are receiving pay and benefits as we evaluate our best path forward. All right. Yeah. After carefully reviewing all available strategic paths to address our ongoing industry, economic and financial challenges, JOANN and its financial stakeholders determined that initiating a court-supervised sale process is the best course of action to maximize the value of the business. And interesting, interestingly, like just within a couple weeks, some media outlet named JOANN one of the winners of 2024. I don't know if I would agree with that. JOANN is committed to providing our customers, the sewists, quilters, crocheters, crafters, and other creative enthusiasts we have served for more than 80 years with great service and assortments, and to supporting our thousands of team members across the nation throughout this process. So if you go to this website, you can see they've set up some resources. You can see if you're a supplier, here's what you do. If you're a customer, here's the deal. Team member, JOANN website, case information, media inquiries, and a press release. So let's take a look at the customer frequently asked questions. So, all right, let me zoom in here. All right, so this is for customers. All right, so it says, JOANN announced that the company has commenced voluntary Chapter 11 proceedings to facilitate a sale process to maximize the value of its business. All right, post-transaction, okay. Company. So it looks like they're looking for a buyer for this, and Gordon Brothers looks like if Gordon Brothers purchases JOANN's, it looks like it intends to pursue a liquidation of the company and conduct out of business sales at all store locations. So this is if Gordon Brothers ends up being the buyer. JOANN stores and JOANN.com are open in the ordinary course and continue to serve customers. Team members are continuing to receive pay and benefits. All right, so Chapter 11 is a section of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code that allows companies to reorganize while benefiting from certain protections designed to give a company flexibility to allow the company to restructure, including by implementing a sale of the business or assets and reorganizing its finances, among other things, while continuing to operate its business throughout this process. So what is a stalking horse? The stalking horse bid sets the floor for the auction process. The company, in connection with seeking court approval of the sale process, is also seeking court authority for Gordon Brothers to serve as the stalking horse bidder in our case. Now, I've been reporting on JOANN for about a year now, since the first bankruptcy rumors started circulating, and we've gone over the history of JOANN, that it was controlled by a private equity group called like Leonard Green and Partners. They had some issues with the previous CEO, Wade Miquelon, who came from Walgreens and was part of the whole Theranos debacle. So if you want to get more of a backstory, we've done previous live streams and previous videos about what's been going on with JOANN for like the past decade. What is a going concern sale? A going concern sale is a technical restructuring term that means that the whole business would be sold and continue to operate after the sale. Okay, so what happens to JOANN if the sale to Gordon Brothers is completed? So Gordon Brothers is going to liquidate the company and conduct going out of business sales. Other potential buyers will have an opportunity to submit higher or better offers. All right, they're looking for other buyers. I don't know who that might be. Honestly, like Missouri Star Quilt Company is doing pretty well, and they've actually been buying. So I don't know if they would have the finances to do that. I don't, would Michaels buy? I don't know, like who else would be a potential buyer for JOANN's. If you guys have any ideas, let me know down below in the comments. So what does it mean that the sale is subject to higher and better offers? All right, so if they do get alternative bids, the winning bid will be the one that is determined to be the higher and better among other conditions. Okay. So since the last several years have presented significant and lasting challenges in the retail environment, which coupled with our current financial position and constrained inventory levels forced us to take this step. Okay. All right. What's different about this process? JOANN filed for Chapter 11 in 2024 to address the company's capital structure. However, following the company's restructure last year, we continue to experience significant and lasting challenges in the retail environment, which coupled with our current financial position and constrained inventory levels has forced us to take this step. Okay, so is JOANN going out of business? Yeah, it's kind of up in the air right now. I guess it depends on who the buyer is, but it does look like if Gordon Brothers is the buyer, it looks like that is their intent, is to shut it down basically. All right, they're looking for other bids. Okay, will they close the stores? All right, and I just want to be clear. I've seen a lot of sentiment from employees in the JOANN subreddit. They're getting really tired of people asking them about if their store is closing. So if you are going to a JOANN store, please leave the employees alone with this stuff. You don't need to be asking a random employee if and when their store is closing down. A lot of them probably don't know. Other than the 8 stores we've gotten confirmed over the past week or so, it's not helpful for you to pester the employees with these types of questions. They're not really in a position to know, so please leave them alone and be kind to the employees. They're obviously dealing with a lot. Many of them might be job hunting right now, but just stop with asking about going out of business sales, because if it does end up happening, you can find out through another avenue. But please, I just, pleading with you, be cool to the employees and don't bother them with this kind of stuff. All right, so it says we're operating as we have been. All right, so they're not announcing any. Okay, it says any changes to the store fleet, including closures, temporary closures, including for natural disasters, which the wildfires may be affecting some of the Los Angeles area locations. Changes to store hours, remodels, and new openings are part of our normal course of business. All right. Does JOANN have sufficient liquidity to continue operating? The company intends to seek approval for a consensual use of cash collateral to ensure it has the liquidity necessary to support its operations. So yeah, they're saying we're still open for business. Okay, yeah, if you have, so they are stopping, you can't buy gift cards right now. So they are stopping sales of gift certificates and gift cards. I would say if you have a JOANN gift card or store credit, I would probably use it fairly soon. I wouldn't wait on that. If things continue to go the way they are, I would definitely try to use up those gift cards in the near future. All right, they are accepting returns. Yeah, if you have to return anything, make sure you're, kind of wrapping up the loose ends if you have any stuff open with JOANN. All right, yeah, so that is straight from JOANN. And here is the press release JOANN put out. So kind of the same information that was in the Retail Dive article. Yeah, that interim CEO, yeah, I guess it seems like he was kind of brought in. Also, this was behind a paywall, but I did see one of their chief customer officer is leaving, Chris Tutulio. There was a Cranes business article, but it was behind a paywall, so I couldn't even read it, but it looks like he is out. Which again, I kind of don't blame the guy if this company is going under, but Chris Tutulio was with the company with JOANN for quite some time. All right, so yeah, this is straight from JOANN's, and this is the website. And again, everything is linked in the description box, but you can take a look at all of the case. You can get case updates and whatnot. There is going to be a debtor's first day motions hearing January 16th at 3 p.m. in Delaware. So I'll continue to keep you updated on whatever the latest is with JOANN's. Here are some of the debtors. All right, like JOANN Inc. Yeah, lots of Needle Holdings, Creative Tech, Creative Bug, Weave Up. Okay, Ditto. Yeah, the Ditto Patterns. Yeah, oh yeah. Real quick, there is a difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is we're going out of business. Chapter 11 is more of a reorganization, and both of the JOANN bankruptcies have been Chapter 11. All right, here's the latest coverage from Bloomberg. Yeah, crafts and fabric retailer JOANN Inc. filed bankruptcy protection for the second time in less than a year in order to quickly find a buyer willing to rescue the company from liquidation. Under a proposed deal with lenders who are owed more than $450 million, the company must hold an auction within 30 days or risk losing its access to cash being held as collateral, according to court documents. The company must first win court approval for the sale process. JOANN already has an offer from liquidator Gordon Brothers Retail Partners, which would serve as the initial bid, setting a floor for how much the company is worth. Should hires come in by February 12th, the company would hold an auction. Under the proposal from Gordon Brothers, if no higher bids come in to rescue the chain, JOANN would sell to the liquidator, which specializes in shutting down retailers and conducting going out of business sales. JOANN stores will remain open. Meanwhile, the company said in a statement, the company had $615.7 million of funded debt obligations, as well as $133 million of trade debt due and outstanding. JOANN's debt position became untenable quickly after it emerged from its first bankruptcy process as an unanticipated inventory challenges added to the pressures of a sluggish retail economy. JOANN's swift return to court follows a string of retail bankruptcies in recent months, including fellow repeat filer Party City, as well as Big Lots and the Container Store. Numerous retailers have struggled the past several years due to inflation and interest rates that were, for a time, the highest in decades. Yeah, that's, Hudson, Ohio-based JOANN's filed for Chapter 11 in March 2024 to quickly execute a lender-backed debt restructuring. The firm exited Chapter 11 6 weeks later with more than 800 stores and its debt nearly halved to about $555 million. JOANN said at the time that the bankruptcy plan enabled the chain to be in its best financial position in recent history. That obviously didn't end up panning out. But in November, Bloomberg reported that JOANN had been asking vendors for rebates and retroactive discounts amid a sales slump. A spokesperson said at the time that the retailer was seeking additional support from its vendors. Bloomberg separately reported in early January that JOANN was working with advisors to help shore up its balance sheet and ease liquidity pressures. Besides high inflation and sluggish consumer spending, JOANN said unexpected challenges from vendors contributed to its return to bankruptcy. After the restocking of some items reached a historic low, shoppers couldn't purchase the products they wanted, hampering JOANN's revenue and credit payments. The company sourced about 65% of its purchases from domestic suppliers in the last fiscal year, with the rest located in countries including Pakistan, India, and China. All right, and here is more coverage from Fox Business. All of the major outlets are picking this up because it is a pretty big, business story. So it's trying to sell itself to another company in an effort to maximize the value of its business. Yeah, I mean, obviously sales haven't been great since the first bankruptcy. Yeah, it didn't shutter. Yeah, so it's closing. They're definitely closing at least 8 stores, but they're saying that's part of its normal business operations. And they've just filed for bankruptcy for a second time. So I would definitely not say JOANN is winning right now. I think that's pretty clear. It's going into 2025 with a lot going on here. All right, so pretty much the same information here. They are looking for other buyers, but from what I can tell, it does look like if Gordon Brothers is the only interested party in acquiring JOANN's, it looks like their plans are to shut it down, and they're probably going to get it for a good discount, liquidate everything, and looks like that's what they do. Interestingly, I got an email as all of this was going on. I just got an email from JOANN's that's promoting a new Draper James fabric line. Draper James is a clothing and accessories company that was started by Reese Witherspoon. So I thought it was kind of interesting that they're still promoting a bunch of stuff. They're going on on social media and online nothing is happening, which is kind of a look. And everyone's what the hell? So yeah, if you go to the JOANN, they're promoting their new, they're still they just came out with their own JOANN brand of sewing machines. They've got that Fabony in-house brand. They're trying to plug Draper James. I mean, this is kind of cute fabric. I mean, that's the thing though. It's the house is burning down and they're focusing on stuff that seems kind of trivial to me. I will say some of these are kind of cute though. I don't know. So this is a new Draper James fabric partner. I mean, this stuff is just a licensing deal, but I mean, look, I like Draper James. I think they make some cute stuff. I mean, the thing is, though, this doesn't match, what they're trying, the image that JOANN is trying to portray doesn't seem to be matching up with customer experiences in the stores. I got so many comments on the last couple of videos about how the stores are just a mess. It's hard to shop there. People are having trouble shopping in-store. People are having trouble shopping online. And it's driving a lot of us away because they're, they do not have their shit together. Let's be real. Things are kind of a mess with, I will say some of this new fabric is honestly kind of cute. I sort of want to order some. This is sort of adorable. I'm not going to lie. Sort of cute, but I mean, they obviously, JOANN as a company is just things are not going well. Things are just not going well. Oh, and the other thing I do want to, they also were going real heavy on the influencer marketing in like the last half of 2024. And people were like, people even now are leaving some pretty crazy comments on all of the JOANN like social media posts. Like, are you guys closing? Like, what's going on with all this stuff? And the JOANN social media team is like, oh, everything's fine. And if you're kind of new to this channel or you're just tuning in, I am Jen. I've been on YouTube for about 7 or 8 years now. I have another channel called The Sewing Report, which is just like straight up sewing and crafting content. Over here on Sewing Report Live, we cover news within the sewing and craft world. This is an independent show. I will say the only thing I ask of people is if you are interested in getting fabric and sewing supplies, I actually sell this myself. So if you'd like to support a small business that also sells well-curated fabric and craft supplies, you can do that over at my website, sewingreport.etsy.com. If you're looking for another place to shop for fabric and sewing supplies, this is a one-person operation. I pack, ship, do everything myself. I've got lots of fabric and other types of supplies. Also, let me know in the comments if there's other stuff you'd like to see me carry. So as JOANN's, is having some problems, there are some other places you can go. There's like Wawak Sewing, there's Missouri's, like there are some good online outlets. I know a lot of you are struggling with finding good in-person store experiences, and that is kind of tough. I'm an online-only business, but I am another option. So if you are looking to support an independent creator who covers the news within this whole industry, you can come here, subscribe to Sewing Report Live. And I also want to point out that because I've never partnered with JOANN's or anything, I can talk about this stuff with no repercussion. Of course, I'm not really going to get any brand deals or sponsorships from JOANN's because they probably are not really a fan of this sort of coverage. That, this is not happy news. But one thing you should know about the whole influencer content creator economy is that the influencers that are working with JOANN's, if they're under contract, typically there is something called a non-disparagement clause, which means that you cannot say anything negative, remotely negative about the company you're working with. This is very standard. So a lot of their stable of influencers, they're not going to be able to address the bankruptcy really in any like authentic way. They're just going to be like, they'll probably just direct people to the website or like try not to talk about it. And it's because they're under this contract where they can't. So that is one thing you should know, is that if there are influencers that are sponsored by JOANN's and they work with JOANN's a lot, like I'm seeing a lot of TikTok and Instagram folks, they really can't say anything about this. So that is one thing I want to highlight, is the importance of independent creators, independent media, because we can cover, like, again, your legacy outlets can cover what's happening with JOANN's, but they're only going to cover the big stuff. They're not going to do a lot of, ongoing coverage. So it is important to have independent media like myself, because when stuff like this happens with various companies within our niche, I can actually talk about this stuff, and I'm not under some sort of like gag order, because I don't have any. I currently don't really. The only company I work with occasionally is Sew Tights, but I will not do any sort of deal that has a non-disparagement clause or that restricts my speech in any way. So if you are looking for real coverage on the sewing and crafts industry, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I have freedom. I have complete freedom, and I'm able to talk about pretty much any of these companies, and I will call them out on their BS or anything that's going on that's not super happy. But that is one thing about the whole influencer sphere, is that if they are working with a brand, they most likely can't say anything negative about that company at all. Sometimes there is a time limit. Sometimes, it might be in perpetuity. I don't know. So that's just something to keep in mind, and, support independent media. You can do that. Subscribe to this channel, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to my other channel, And you can also purchase, I do have some affiliate partners, but they don't have any control over my content or my editorial decisions. And you can also shop at my Etsy shop, sewingreport.etsy.com. Well, I will keep you updated with the latest. I was not expecting to have to shoot a video today, but I am not going to be a lot of editing with this one because I want to try to get it up as soon as possible. But I'm Jen with Sewing Report Live. I'll see you again in the next one.